Scotland, a place with incredible canal features, raging rivers and terrifyingly deep lochs, and with some of the biggest and best mountains in the United Kingdom. For me, as a humble Shropshire lad used to gentle rolling hills and wide open flat spaces, Scotland is almost like a fairy tale place for me to visit, and yet amazingly it's only a few hours drive away by car. I'd like to start this video by showing you one of my favourite little areas here. This is on the Forth and Clyde Canal, and these are the absolutely epic Kelpie statues. So these are mythological shape-shifting creatures, but I mean, look at this. That is actually a canal lock that passes between these as some sort of epic gateposts. Absolutely fantastic feature. And at night time they light them all up. I've got to say that as we approach these on this trip, you see them in the distance and you think, wow, they're bigger than I thought. And then you get a little bit closer and you think, oh, they're even bigger. And then you get here right up to the point that you can actually have a quick nose inside and they are towering above you. I think they're about 30 metres high, so they are big, but they feel, to me at least, infinitely bigger. I just wanted to show you a close-up just so you can see the actual construction and get a better idea of how sort of menacing and solid these things are looking down across the canal. So yeah, absolutely beautiful place, and you can imagine it's a very popular touristy area. We were here in March, so I can imagine it's a gongoozler's paradise in the summer. What you are seeing here now, my friends, is a spectacular section of the River Tummel, and this was just an area that we happened to notice as we were driving by. So luckily there was a safe place to park the car and we came down for a closer look. And I've got to say that I found this absolutely terrifying in person. Just listen to this, for example. I would say that as much as the roaring sound deafening you in person, you can almost sort of feel it, or at least I can, as a sort of dread feeling in the pit of my stomach. I've never held on so tightly, kept so far from the edge, and trodden so carefully in my life. But what an epic place to just randomly stumble upon. And that's one of the great beauties of Scotland, that up in these areas there's all these incredible, spectacular, beautiful or terrifying features just there, that the amount of little waterfalls or river rapids we've seen just purely as we've been driving around exploring, it's fantastic. You can see here under a nice blue sky we're walking alongside this loch to ultimately end up on that snowy peak in the background. This is our way up Ben Consey. Again, forgive my pronunciation in these videos, I do apologise. So you might notice here that once we got to the boggier, marshier land and the rockier, steeper segments of the walk, suddenly the beautiful blue sky had disappeared and we found ourselves getting wet feet and also rained, hailed and sleeted and snowed on. Just a nice little curiosity here, a bit of ice on the side of the mountain with running water beneath it. And again, here we are getting to the sort of flatter, more open top section of the mountain. Blue sky again. It may well look particularly inviting and pleasant. You might notice Stu's got his hood up there because we were getting battered by the wind, and I believe the weather forecast said it was, with wind chill, going to feel like about minus 11 degrees. And I'll tell you this much, I felt every one of those minus degrees, particularly on my big nose and my fingers. But you can see here, the mountaintop we were on was a relatively modest and gentle hill compared to some of those absolutely epic, distant, completely snow-covered tops over there on the horizon. So, my friends, let's get back to the sunny blue sky, shall we? What absolutely brilliant weather conditions to be enjoying the extraordinary spectacle of the Falkirk Wheel. Now, this has got to be one of the most famous, iconic curiosities on all of the canals in the UK. And as you can see, I mean, what a fascinating device. if you're unfamiliar, basically boats go into that trough at the end and the entire wheel spins around. So there's boats can go in at the base to go up, and at the same time there can be boats in the top coming down. What an absolutely... I mean, just look at it. I don't even know how to describe it. It's somewhere between sculpture, engineering, art, and, well, just a functional part of a canal network. And I've got to say, something that I don't think gets enough appreciation is this. I don't know what. Again, I'm lost for words. I love canals, as people may know if you tune into my videos. But just this section here, as it comes off the hilltop, and almost is like it's floating through these circular struts. It's just absolutely amazing place. And again, it's somewhere that it's something that you see all over the place, and it's obviously a very famous feature, prominently featured in any documentary or videos like this from me. But actually seeing it in person is absolutely wonderful. And I'll say this much to you, my friends, it may take me a while, unless this YouTube channel suddenly becomes really big, but I will be going through the Falkirk Wheel section of Canal in a boat, so stay tuned for that and wish me luck. Anyway, sorry, I got so excited about that, I've talked over the beginning of this little hill walk here. So, this was our trip up Schiehallion, and again, it's got to be said that you've seen all of these amazing blue sky clips and these wonderful little features of the canals and so on, and the beating sun, and then every time I show you a clip of us going up a mountain, suddenly it's a murky, misty day or foggy, but that's just the way life is. And let's be completely honest here, my friends, I don't think this is a bad place to be at all. In fact, as we look across the landscape here in this sort of pre-spring section of the year, where everything's got a little bit more muted earthy colour to it, there's something a little bit more menacing and foreboding about the landscape here. A little more bleak maybe, but as the camera pans down here, you'll see something that I thought was rather an interesting feature. In the shelter from the sun of the rocks here, you can see these ice crystals forming, and the very last clip of this video is going to be a much bigger section of those. So I just wanted to throw in a few little clips here from driving around, and just all of these random curiosities. We just saw loads of deer, and then just here, randomly derelict in a complete back of nowhere segment of Country Lane, just this beautiful old building. And then again up here at one of the skiing areas, you can see we've basically just driven into the clouds. And again, I just love Scotland. There's so much to talk about. There's so many features here. It's really rugged and sort of menacing environments. Then these absolutely beautiful environments. There's unbelievable rivers, all the lochs. And then here we are, look at this. Again, under a beautiful blue sky. We're here at Queensferry looking across the Firth of Forth with these absolutely unbelievable bridges. I mean, just look at the size of these. And then as the camera zooms in over there, you'll see there is going to be a train crossing, which again, when you consider that's the smallest of the bridges in terms of the sort of above sea level size. Oh my goodness me, I'm stumbling over my words here, my friends. I wanted this video to be about 9 minutes tops, and as you may have guessed, I am not achieving that as we speak. But again, hopefully you can see in the centre of the screen now, there is this train crossing over. I believe it's about 4 carriages long, and just look at how miniature it looks, that you might even struggle to see it if you're viewing this on a phone. And that should put into perspective the size of not only that, but all of the other bridges there. This was a lovely little walk we did. Again, taking in the classic Scottish scenery here. I can imagine this would be a really nice walk in good weather, because it wasn't too taxing. There was a decent path for probably 70% of the way, I'd say. But as you can see, even though the sun was out, it was struggling to find its way through the cloud to us. And here we have our final walk of the week. So this was to the peaks of Mea and Dreesh, Again, forgive my terrible pronunciations, I'm sure I'm not getting these right, but I just want to focus for a moment on this absolutely tremendous, rugged, natural amphitheatre of a place. And panning the camera around just doesn't sum this up. This is one of my favourite places I think I've ever walked. So here is a wide angle shot, and we walked basically to the left of the waterfall in the centre of the screen here. And I've got to say, it's probably one of my favourite places to have ever walked. There was just something absolutely epic and humbling about it. And this was just the very edge of the Cairngorms, so there's a lot bigger and more menacing hills out there for sure. But I mean, just look at this. What a place. What an absolutely wonderful place. And just as a nice curiosity to lighten the mood, we've got a huge hare there. You might just see it in its winter white coat as it bounds up the hillside. But once again, of course, it wouldn't be a walk at this time of year on this trip if we didn't have some cloud cover coming in. And we did get, I would say, somewhat wet heading to the second peak of the day. But on that note, I think I will say thank you so much for tuning in. Please do take a look at my other videos. I've got loads of canal boat life stuff. I've got other stuff from Scottish and Welsh mountains. And well, if you're really curious and really want to help me out, please take a look at my canal boat life books. Links in the description, and loads more footage and videos like this to come. Until the next time, my friends, keep it boat worthy, keep it boat worthy. Have a fantastic day, and of course, my friends, farewell.